All right, and we're here. Crazy things have been happening tonight. Mercury retrograde. You're supposed to be over now. But your shadow that's cast upon us is too dark now. Move away. All right, who do we got here? We got a couple crazy people listening to my singing. Who do we got? We're all about doing readings. We're all about, tarot readings, oracle readings, talking about metaphysical stuff. I drank all my wine. Otherwise, I would be drinking wine here with you. Let me know what you're drinking. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. We are here having a great time. And I don't know you're here, and I don't know if you want a reading if I don't see comments. So please, 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 comments are my friend. Yay. Tonight, I'm going to be doing my best reading from the Goddess Oracle deck. I do have various other Oracle decks. If you would rather that or the Tarot deck, I do have that as well. I could do readings out of any of them. But this was a very, very hot topic of discussion the last couple of live sessions. So I have the Complete Correspondences book. Actually, this is not the book I wanted to pull out. Hold on. That was ridiculous, redonkulous even. The book that I actually wanted to move over a bit was this one. Yeah, yes. Animal Speak. Because a lot of people have been asking me about animals and animal spirits and what do they mean and what do they represent. And so I've got this book here that'll be able to help us talk about such things, such matters. So even if you want to just bounce on in there and say, hey, well, what about this spirit animal? So now a lot of this is in context with, if you look at the book, it's Animal Speak. A lot of it has to do with Native American heritage. But this is a very, very great resource for spirit animals, spirit totems. Like I was saying in a live earlier in the week, and I forget which group I was in when I said it. But there is a difference between spirit guides and spirit totems. Spirit totems is you. That's the one that's going to stay with you forever, that represents you. And a spirit guide, these are guides that come in and out of your life as you need them. So, understand that there is a difference between the two. My personal spirit, I guess you would call it more of a spirit totem, because there's a lot of things that, like, when I'm like, no, I'm not a raccoon. I don't. But then I start thinking, but my spirit guide is a raccoon. So let's start with raccoon. And we'll go from there. By the way, if y'all just want a reading, if you want anything, if you have a question or any of that, I can definitely help you out. I got my tarot cards, my oracle cards. I've got all of the things. Pendulums. The only thing that I cannot do is talk to dead people, unfortunately. That is not one of my fortes. I wish it was. I really do. So raccoon. So like my spirit animal is a raccoon. So let's read up on raccoons for a little bit. The keynotes here are all about dexterity and disguise. And this is a nocturnal animal, obviously, with a spring and summer, because it's usually when you see them the most, okay? This is going to go into a lot about their habitat, what they do, how they eat, how they do things. And saying that, hey, if somebody says you're like the raccoon spirit, it's because X, Y, and Z. Look at what the raccoons do, So, it does go into very minute detail. Raccoons are fascinating animals. They are distantly related to the bear, and thus it could be studied as well by anyone with this totem. The raccoon is one of the most adaptable animals, and in spite of encroaching on its natural habitat, it is even able to live within the city. The name raccoon is believed by some to come from the Algonquin Indian word arkuim, and I hope I'm pronouncing these right. If there are any natives that do watch this, if I mispronounce it, please let me know so that I can pronounce it properly in the future. Meaning hand scratcher. The paws are very dexterous, okay, for raccoons. They've got really feely paws. They have really feely paws. And they're really good at that, at using their little paws at opening, just like they were hands, opening lids to jars and cans and soda tops and latches. And because of this, they have a reputation for thievery. Like, I'm going to steal all of the things because I can, because I've got these awesome little paws. I will steal all of the things. It would not be surprising to find that individuals who are thieves and burglars have raccoon medicine, even though it is not being used positively. Raccoons are fascinated by water, and I love the water. Seriously, I love to meditate in the water. I love everything about the water. They like to sloth their hands and their food in it, and this gives rise to the belief they never eat anything without washing it first. Actually, water increases the sensitivity of the raccoon's hands, and they can feed their food better. They can eat on their food better. So it's like, we're going to wash all that bad stuff, and it allows us to feel more. They're very feely animals when they want to be, right? The raccoon will eat almost anything available. It will capture small prey, but it usually eats vegetables and fruit. It is something that those with this totem should also keep in mind. Raccoons are extremely curious, which is partly why they get into things that they shouldn't, which is true. I'm very curious, and I always adventure upon things I should never have ventured upon, going down the crazy rabbit holes, and that's what happens. That's what happens. I'm a raccoon. What can I say? They love to explore. Their nocturnal excursions can be likened to little mini adventures. They are very curious about new realms and will examine anything that fascinates them. One of the most striking features of the raccoon is the mask that it wears. That raccoon mask, that thief mask, right? Although some associate this with thievery, it actually gives the raccoon a very powerful mystical symbol. The use of masks to achieve altered states and for other healing and ritual purposes has been a part of every society. Mask making is an ancient art employed all over the world for ceremony, celebration, and magical practices. Concealed behind a mask, people could become something or someone else. We could become whatever we want to wear. Masks are invested within mystery, and they are a tool for transformation. There is really so much information here. Is there anybody in the live? Let me know if you're in the live, and I would gladly give you a reading. Just hit that comment button for me. The magic of raccoon is expert at disguise and secrecy. Hold on 1 second. Maybe. My daughter was playing a video game. My monster, whatever. hopefully this works. If I can't get anybody in here for readings or conversation, I will call it early. That way we're not wasting anybody's time. All right, so to finish on raccoon spirit, because I know I left you guys on a pause. Oh my God. So raccoon spirit. Concealed behind a mask, people could become someone, something else. No, I think I read all that. Okay. Just as there is with the raccoon with masks, there is ambiguity and equivocation. When we wear a mask, we are no longer who we thought. We make ourselves one with some other force. We create a doorway in our mind and in the physical world, a threshold that we can cross to new dimensions and new beginness or beingness. There is a magic of this is the magic of raccoon. It is an expert at disguise and secrecy. It knows how to wear masks for a variety of purposes. It can teach you how to mask and disguise and transform yourself. Each must develop the relationship with the raccoon in their own unique way. But raccoon medicine can teach you how to become dexterous in the masks you wear. It can show how to wear a healing mask or show you the face you shall become. Raccoon holds the knowledge of how to change our faces. Whenever I take trips to teach classes and workshops, I look for, no, that has nothing to do with this. Blase, blase, blah. Raccoons hold knowledge of transformation through masks and disguise. This knowledge can be applied to religions and ritual practices or within normal everyday life. Do you need to present a different face for people for greater success? Raccoons do not hibernate. They do go into heavy sleep during the winter, living off their body fat. This has connections to learning to use masks to put to sleep one aspect of yourself so another can be awakened. It will help you develop dexterity in using masks to achieve new altered states and dimensions. So much awesome stuff. Is there anyone in here? Let me know in the comment section. Is there anyone here? I need to see you in the comment section. I need to see you in the comment section. Ooh, I need to see you in the comment section. And ooh, the comment section, the comment section. All right, let's see if that works. I shared to a place or two. Maybe I won't be in here by myself. Just me and my cards. Oh, by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself anymore. Hard to be sure. Leslie, Alessa, right? Yeah, Alessa G and my girl Leslie. How you doing, ladies? How we doing, ladies? Sorry, my computer where I can see your comments is over here. So if I look like I'm never looking at the camera, it's not because I'm camera shy, I promise. It's really because my comments are over there. So I'm using my Goddess Oracle cards. So this is going to be a little different. How am I? Actually, before you guys showed up, I seriously was going to bail because I was like, I have been on here for like 15 minutes. Nobody is showing up. I could be playing video games. I read like this whole thing about raccoon spirit while I was waiting for people to show up. It was so hilarious. All right, Alyssa, my girl, do you have a question? If you do have a question, this is free. You don't got to worry about it. Give you a reading, little mini. If you got a question, let me know. I can also answer your question via spirit animals, goddess oracles, the tarot, shaman cards. I mean, like, you name it, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty good. The only thing I don't have is runes. That's a system of communication. Oh, quick, I gotta get on there. Alyssa, you still with me or did you leave, sweetheart? Give you a couple more seconds to respond, and then we're going to go on to Miss Leslie. If there's anybody else on here that would like a reading, you just got to let me know in the comment section. I don't know if you're in here unless I see a comment, honey, okay? Leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. I'm putting on a show, so that's all I ask of you. And yes, that includes my terrible singing. I don't care. Deal with it. Okay. I'm so crazy. I'm so out of my mind. Bonkers and wild. All right, Leslie, if you got a question, think of your question. If you don't want goddess, think of a thing. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick, and I will be right back. By the time I'm done, you should have all of your things typed out. I thought I had something to drink too. All right, Miss Leslie. I don't see anything in there, so I'm just going to pull a couple of cards for you, okay? I love how, like, when I get drunk or inebriated in any way, that North Jersey comes out so hard. You're over here like, you live where? It sounds like you live in New York. Oh, no, honey. That's just close to where I was raised, okay? You don't know anything. You think you know New York. You think the Statue of Liberty is in New York, and that it's called, because it's called the New York Giants or the New York Jets, that they're in New York. Oh no, but you would be sadly mistaken, because they are all in the state of New Jersey, my state, the state nobody cares about because it's the ill armpit of the world. Sorry, that was my rant. Do you have a job opportunity coming your way? All right, Miss Leslie, let's go. Let's figure it out. And we want it this week. Maybe it's coming up as like a 33% chance of a yes. So I say maybe because there is that little bit of hope, but the probability of it happening is not so good, right? That 66% probability against you. It's showing me that your focus was misaligned, therefore misaligning the potential that you could have had. Maybe it had something to do with the resume, or maybe an interview you may or may not have had, but some kind of communication, some focus wasn't there. But if it does work out, this is going to be a position that is going to transform you. This is going to be something that's going to be very good for you. I would recommend, if this does not work out, finding other things within this field as much as possible, because that Shakti card, that transformation card, is leading me to believe that at least the career that you're going in is the right track, because it's transforming you into being somebody better and for your own good, even though this particular situation may or may not work out because of the factors we had discussed. Let me know if that makes sense. And his accent's all over the place. Dude, no, we're moving back to North Carolina, to Eastern North Carolina. And yeah, every once in a while, I'll, when I'm around people, I'll elongate that, those set particular sounds. I haven't said y'all like since I moved down here, and it was really around the 10-year mark. I was like, hey, I've been down here long enough. I'm allowed to say y'all now, right? Like, it was really funny. But you get me tipsy enough, drunk enough, angry enough, excited enough. And the only word that I cannot hide is understand. Every time I say the word understand, it always comes out. That's where you hear my Jersey. It makes total sense. Of course. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry it makes sense, and I'm sorry that I've got to be accurate. I just because sometimes you got to be the bearer of bad news too, and that's just not always fun. I got 3 people up in here. Was there anybody else that wanted a small little reading, or do we want to talk about spirit animals? Like I said before, I got the guide. So if you got a particular animal that's been crossing your mind, or that's been following you for a little while, or whatever, and you want to know what it means, hit me up. I got this book. I can give you the deets on all of that information. Hi. How are you, Papa Bear? I know who you are. How you doing? Do you want like a little mini read? Aw, my little hearts. No, don't fall. No, don't fall. No, why? Why is this so difficult? I'm not nearly this drunk, and I've stopped drinking. I'm doing okay. Sure, a little reading. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, that card too. This card too. They wanted to make sure that that card was very much so given to you. All right, darling, this is what we've got. We've got a lot of ambition for certain things going on in our lives right now. A lot of ambition. Nike, actually. Goddess Nike, where do you think that company got its little logo from? So we've got a lot of ambition. We've got a lot of things that drive us, that we want to move forward, and we want to take the fast route. Because we know that through everything, through what's going on right now, whether it's affecting us, our family, our friends, the only way that anybody's ever going to get saved is through ourselves. Is, if we want to be saved, we've got to save ourselves. There is no knight in shining armor, right? So this one over here, this is Green Tara. She is a Tibetan goddess all about salvation. If you want salvation, though, sometimes that salvation has to be made by yourself, okay? You are your own salvation. Remember that, okay? Be strong like you always are. You're always strong, incredibly. Hold on, I'm reading your comments right now. I promise I'm not trying to play with the cards. I know you're not. I know you're not. I actually had a hard time trying to get into there. God, you make it difficult. You especially make it difficult. All right. So the next two, because I got 4 cards all together. I got the native from Native America. I've got the white buffalo woman, calf spirit. And this is all about reverence. This is remembering, which I know you do, and you're very good about it, but continue, because it's appreciated. Continue to give reverence, not just to your spirits, your guides, your land spirits, right? Because remember, they were there before you. Your land spirits, your to all of the things, right? But remember that you need to pay reverence to yourself as well, okay? You are a spirit, a divine spirit as well. You are a God. So in that case, you need to pay reverence to yourself. Remember to give yourself some time and self-care and some self-love, okay? Pay reverence to yourself. It's okay to do so. And lastly, we've got Ellen, the Celtic goddess. Ellen, the Celtic goddess. She is the Celtic goddess of patterns and synchronicities. And in this case, it's in the reverse. And it's saying, look, I know you. You read synchronicities. I know you read synchronicities. Have you been misreading your synchronicities? Are you sure what you're seeing is what you're seeing? Okay, go back. Have you been writing everything down like you were supposed to? Have you gone back? Have you taken a look? Have you put the correlations together like you should? Really go back and take a look at it, because this card is telling me that maybe we might got some of our synchronicities a little flip-flopped or a little on the reverse, or maybe we haven't been paying attention to certain things going on around us, because there are obviously more important things that are going on in our lives right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but this is really what Spirit is saying, okay? You've got a lot of ambition. You got a lot of stuff that is going on in one front, and that you can only be your own savior. But on the other front, hey, remember, you're not paying attention to patterns, and you're not giving yourself enough attention, because there's other things that need to be seen. A fear in your work, but it all makes sense. All right. I'm glad that helped you, sweetheart. I am so glad that helped you. So, who's next? Who's ready to take the deep dive? Do I have any new takers? If not, we can talk about spirit animals. Oh, no, absolutely. Sometimes you need that affirmation. Sometimes you need to make sure, are my screws loose? Am I making this up? Is it all in my head, or other people saying this too? You know what I mean? No, I totally get it. I call my mom all of the time. And I'm like, Ma, no, really, but listen, Ma, like, this is what happened, and I got to bring her down too, because she has some crazy dreams. She has some real crazy dreams. But then I also got to be the realist in here that's saying, okay, Ma, but let's take it from a scientific standpoint. Is it really that, like, you're looking at future events, or are we looking at fears and past traumas that are coming together in your dreamscape so that you can face them and deal with them in a way that is more comfortable for you? I hate being a scientist as well. It makes this so much harder. Crows have been following me all over the neighborhood. All right, let's find out. First, let's get to know some crows intimately, shall we, darling? Where's the where's the crows? There's a whole thing on feather magic. The crow in itself is fairly long, so please bear with me. And if there are anybody else that wants to know who a spirit animal is, let me know. This, by the way, is all taken from Animal Speak by Ted Andrews, which you can buy at any bookstore. The keynotes that we are going to be looking at and referencing are The Secret Magic of Creation, that is calling, and The Cycle of Power would be pretty much all day, all year round. And as the author writes, my grandfather once told me that the crow was the smartest of all birds. What's more, it even knew it was the smartest of birds and enjoyed it to the fullest. In fact, it was so smart that it chose to stay a crow rather than move on to some other area of evolution. It has a unique ability to outwit most birds, animals, and even humans at times, and they make for themselves a wonderful living. It can be thought of as another being who felt it was rather to rule the world with than serve in heaven. Crows seem to have mastered it well. Crows intrigue us and aggravate us. They are the only family member. They and their only family member, the raven, have great mysticism and mythology about them. They have actually 5 species of crows, one of which is a raven. Because they are the same family, the only real difference being in size, it would be beneficial for those with crows as totems to also study the qualities and mystical aspects of the raven. The first noticeable characteristic about the bird is its shrinking black color. Sometimes it will have hints of deep purple and blue on the feathers as well. Black is the color of creation. It is the womb out of which the new is born. It is also the color of the night. Black is the maternal color, and thus the black night gives birth to the new day. Although the crow is a diurnal or daytime bird, it reminds us that magic and creation are potentials very much alive during the day. The crow, because of its color, has a common symbol in medieval alchemy. It represents Negretto, the initial state of substance, unformed but full of potential. Making sure I didn't lose anybody's comments. Nope. Okay. In Roman mythology, ravens and crows used to be as white as swans. In fact, White Crow watched over Apollo's pregnant lover at Delphos. One day, the crow brought bad news to Apollo and was turned black. This connection to watchfulness is still strong today. Crows always have a sentinel posted. They build their nests high in the treetops so they can see the entire area in which they are living and feeding. Occasionally, crows have been seen attacking and killing one of their own. There arose an old belief that crows were attacked. That the crows being attacked was a centennial who failed. It also was a reminder that what can happen if we are not watchful for magic and creation every day. Watchfulness warns other crows and other animals of intruders and threats, human and animal. They have been observed raising a ruckus when hunters are around, warning deer and other birds. They recognize possible dangers, and they always post lookouts when feeding their most vulnerable time. This ability to warn is connected to the crow's second most noticeable characteristic, its voice. The crow is actually a member of the songbird family because of its voice box structure. Although few think of the crow as a songbird, they have been many claims, unsubstantiated over the years, that when it is alone, it will sing a soft musical voice. Crows have a complex language. They have a remarkable voice range, but they actually do not sing. They can caw in many different ways, which each with its own meaning. Learning to understand the language of crows is something we all can do with practice. Although it has a tongue, it does not use the tongue to make any sounds. Pliny once wrote that if the tongue of a crow were split, it would learn to speak like humans. This, of course, is not true. All that would happen is that the crow bleeds to death. The cawing out of the crow should remind us that magic and creation are cawing out to us every day. The great horned owl is probably the most deadly enemy of the crow. If any owl comes into the sight of a crow, it will mob the owl and chase it off. Crows know that if an owl discovers its nest, the night could bring death. Many crows have lost their life to the silent night hunts of owls. The crow has great intelligence. It is adaptable in its environment. It will eat almost anything. Part of their ability to survive is their being omnivorous. They have the unique ability to communicate with each other and to work together. Their ability for watching and their intelligence has given them a reputation for thievery. They will rob food from other birds or whatever source is around, including human food supplies. Crows and all corvines are especially imprinted with the image of their keeper. Those who have had crows as pets have found them extremely trainable, with an ability to count and develop a complex communication with their owner. And yet, in the wild, even though they are constantly seen and heard, it is hard to get near in the wild. It's hard to get near them. Again, I have found that it reflects, for most people, little awareness of or realization of the magic necessary to create or recreate their life. The courtship and mating procedures always reflect much of the crow's association with magic. The male crow sets out to make itself as handsome as possible, and it is during this time that its voice takes on a singy quality. Love makes the whole world sing. The male and female builds the nest together. The nest is built high up for protection and is kept very clean. Even young crows do not foul their own nests. They list a little meditation on this will a little meditation on this will reveal much about health, home, and respect. Crows have a great mythology about them. They can reflect not only past life connections to those times and cultures, but it also reflects some of the archetypal forces that it can connect with. As with many animals, crows also have been known to predict tornadoes, rain, and other changes in weather by the way they fly. Working with crows can help you see how the winds are going to blow into your life and how to adjust your own life flights. Crows have been long considered magical, and my grandfather once told me how even finding a dead crow was a sign of good luck. We have spoken to crows and they're linked to German Roman mythology, but they have appeared in others as well. In China, a three-legged crow, sun crow, was worshipped. It was a symbol of solitude to the Athapascan Indians of Alaska. A crow in the form of raven was created of the world. To the Celts, the crow was also association with creation. In biblical lore, a prophet Elijah was fed by ravens and crows while hiding in the wilderness. In the Norse tradition, the god Odin had two ravens who were his messengers. Wherever crows are, there is magic. There are symbols of creation and spiritual strength. They remind us to look for opportunities to create and manifest the magic of life. They're messengers calling to us about the creation and magic that is alive within our world every day and available to us. So I hope that makes sense for you. I have owls in my neighborhood too. I think it might go into specific owls, but I'm not entirely sure. It might just be owls. Yeah, it's just owl. It's not specific. Hold on, let me see. Barn owl. Because I know that's a different one. Eagles. Bluebirds. Bluebirds. You saw me standing alone. Yeah, it's not in here. It's just owls. It's just going to be general owl. General owl. And there is a lot of information, by the way, on owl. A ton of information on owl. Like a ton. I don't think I could read everything that there is on owl spirit. Oh yeah, owls do go after the crows. Crows don't tend to be very much so predatory birds. I mean, like they can be if they have to be, but they're more like light scavengers, kind of. Whereas owls are more predatory birds. So yeah, they would be a little bit terrified of owls. Hi, Christina. What's going on? We're just doing readings and reading up on spirit animals, and that's about it. That's about it. Feather fetishes. Feathers are ruled by the element of air. They work well in spells for communication and are often used to aid in focus and promote change. Migratory Bird Treaty Act it is illegal to take or possess feathers of migratory birds, so be careful of that. But here's a list of common backyard birds you can find feathers from in their magical correspondences. Bluebirds, happiness, confidence, transformation. Cardinals, passion, vitality, life, love. Crow, wisdom, past life, mourning, and letting go. Finch, new experience, increased potential. Grosbeak, family values, healing old wounds. Hummingbird, finding joy, fairy magic, continuity. Owls, wisdom, self-truth, clairvoyance, occult wisdom. Robin, which is very popular everywhere, new growth and new beginnings, fertility, domestic bliss. Sparrow, ambition, triumph, self-worth, and woodpecker, earth rhythms, prophecy, life cycles. It's very interesting that it was in there. I'm just blah, love spirit animals. Oh yeah, spirit animals. If you want to know about a particular spirit animal, like I'll read about them if you want, Christina. This book is amazing. This book is just, and they've got insects, they've got regular birds, regular animals, flying animals. And then there's like also different rituals that they have where you can try to animal walk, which is very interesting. You would think it's really weird, but you kind of like dress up as that animal. You would kind of stand, get them in a meditative position, stand and kind of act as that animal, pretend you are that animal, and be more in one and in tune with those kinds of energies to really be able to figure out how those energies pertain to you. It's very interesting, the stuff that's in here. Oh, thank you, Christina. Thank you. So that's what I'm doing in between readings. You know, if people wanted any, I've got readings, but I'm really just reading spirit animals. I figure I got to do something else, you know, other than just sit here and sing for people, because let's face it, I can't sing. You aren't here asking me to sing for you guys. So. Anything on alligators? Well, let's find out, shall we? $3.49. Ah, yes, the reptile world. All the way in the back, snuggled. All right, so alligators and crocodiles would fit in to these things. So the keynotes for the alligator and the crocodile are primal energies of birth, motherhood, and initiation. Alligators and crocodiles have had mixed symbology and imagery throughout the ages. To the ancient Egyptians, they have been associated with fury and ferocity, the same aspects often given within mythologies to the unbridled feminine creative forces of the world. The viciousness and destructive power was often symbolized as a mother swallowing her young. Inherent within this was the idea that there could not be death without life or life without death. All alligators and crocodiles inhabit the waters of the land. Water was always associated with the great mother, the feminine principle of life, and therefore birth. Water, though, can also swallow you up. Creation and destruction and more creation. This is the primal essence reflected within these reptiles. Birth and death in any form are initiations, events that mark the end of one period and the beginning of a new. This indicates the culmination of knowledge. in one level and seeking for newer knowledge on others. All of this is reflected within the essence of alligators and crocodiles. They patrol the waters and the shorelines and separate land from water, birth and death, etc. It is in this sense they can be seen as the keepers and protectors of knowledge. They are the primal mothers in whom all knowledge rests and waits to be born. This becomes even more significant when we realize that crocodiles and alligators are excellent mothers, which is usually among reptiles. Both lay between 20 to 30 eggs, and when the young develop enough within the eggs to begin squeaking from the inside, the mother answers to help them to hatch. She then carries them gently in her mouth down the water. Aside from the mothering energies attributed to the reptiles, they have been depicted in other ways as well in mythology. In the Hindu tradition, Varuna, the god of waters, rides on the crocodile's back. Also in Egypt, because of the association with mud, it was often used as a symbol for fertility and power, with mud being the mixture of water and earth that enables new life to grow.
Yeah, this.
No, that's for me. Please put that back. You already had cake.
So.
Put it back in the fridge. And close the door, please. Goodbye. Whatever. Also, and don't have children. For I know some of you it's too late, but for some of you it's not too late. In medieval Europe, earlier, because of their appearance, long body and tail, the alligator and crocodile were associated with dragons. Sometimes it was the dragon's negative correspondence, and sometimes the more positive. The dragon was often the guardian of treasure, then symbolic of hidden wisdom. Because alligators and crocodiles seem to hide within the water while guarding them, they are given the same role as the magical dragons, the guardians of the mystical treasure and wisdoms. Their encounter to alligators or crocodiles was to indicate an opportunity to begin to unfold and develop some new wisdom that could swallow you up if not used carefully. There are different animals, although close relatives. One of the primary differences is that the crocodile has a tooth that sticks upward from the lower jaw, and the alligator does not. Alligators will build a nest of mud and leaves, while the crocodile will dig a hole in the sand. Crocodiles and alligators both have their eyes high up on the head. This, of course, serves as practical purpose, enabling them to remain relatively hidden beneath the waters while still able to seek out prey. On the more symbolic level, it hints at higher vision and clairvoyance. Although often considered silent creatures, they do vocalize. They hiss loudly when threatened. During mating season, they are known to roar. Alligators have a wonderful function in the conversation of other water animals. They will dig gator holes, small ponds for fresh fish. These potholes in the mud slowly fill with the last remaining waters in the area, creating a miniature oasis that will enable it and other animal life to survive. The alligator has much more rapid growth rate than the crocodile. The year until it reaches its ultimate length, the cooler climates and growth rate is less. Opportunity and for initiation and a culmination and use of new knowledge and wisdom occur more rapidly than with crocodile totem, but it can be also more dangerous if not balanced. The crocodile digests its food very slowly, reflecting a need to not go too fast too soon. Digest what you have experienced and learned before moving on to the new. The crocodile has its own unique characteristics as well. It is most famous for shedding its crocodile tears, a phrase that hints at fake sympathy and sadness. A crocodile does not shed tears, but it is not out of pain or sorrow. It is done to rid the eyes of salt. For those like the crocodile totem, care of the eyes will be important. If it is shown up as a totem, ask yourself some questions. Are you refusing to show emotion when you should? Are you showing emotion that you should not? Don't allow yourself to be blinded by emotions. Crocodile will also keep its mouth open for extra cooling. Yoga teaches different breathing techniques in order to affect different systems in the body and the body flow. There are cooling breaths. Studying and practicing these would be beneficial for anyone with this totem, especially when emotional situations around you begin to get hot. If an alligator or crocodile has shown up, look for an opportunity to touch very primal energies. There is going to be an opportunity for strong birth and or initiation that will open new knowledge and wisdom in some area of your life. Whew, that was a lot of reading. That was a ton of reading. Guys, I'm thirsty. Yes. Oh, you're very welcome. Come on now. You're very welcome. All of my stuff is falling. But now that I can go live on Facebook, I will be doing some more, as you've been seeing, some more Facebook lives in the various groups that I'm in, trying to take full advantage of that before they pull me away. But at the same time, I want to still maintain a platform here on YouTube and on TikTok. That way I have other ways of being able to reach out to you guys. That's not Facebook in the event Facebook decides to permaban me. So here you go. But with that, it's been about an hour. Not too many other people have come in. So unless anybody has any other questions or anything, I'll give you guys a minute. But unless you guys have any other questions or anything, I think I'm going to call it a night. My daughter's listening to some YouTube thing. She loves her YouTube things. YouTube. And now I got My Singing Monsters stuck in my head. Thank you to my daughter. That's what she's been playing for the last couple of days. It's just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. All right, guys. I don't see anybody else. I don't see any other comments. So with that, I thank you so much for your support and your help and you being here. And I love you, crazy, crazy people. So I'll see you guys next time. All right. Namaste and God bless.